She didn't cheat loudly. She didn't confess. She just stopped asking how my day was. That's when I knew that something was already gone.
I realized something was wrong long before I had any proof. It wasn't a text message or a confession. It was the way she stopped asking how my day went, like the answer just didn't matter anymore. 18 years together teaches you the difference between distance and silence, and this was something else entirely. She said she'd be late one night, standing by the door adjusting her jacket. Her tone was casual, almost cheerful. "Don't wait up," she said, smiling like it was a kindness. I nodded and watched her leave, knowing instinctively that whatever walked out with her wasn't coming back the same. I didn't follow her. I didn't check her phone. I just sat at the kitchen table long after the house grew quiet, listening to the hum of the refrigerator and wondering how a life could unravel without making a sound. People think betrayal arrives loudly, like a thunderstorm, but sometimes it just whispers and waits for you to notice. Over the next few weeks, patterns started to emerge. They always do. A sudden concern about her appearance. Dinners that didn't line up with her work schedule. A phone that never, ever left her hand. She wasn't cruel about it, and that almost made it worse. Indifference cut so much deeper than anger. We had built a routine that looked solid from the outside. 2 kids, steady jobs, holidays that followed the same traditions every single year. I had believed consistency meant safety. But I learned too late that it can also mean complacency. The proof finally came one afternoon when she left her laptop open on the desk. I wasn't searching. I wasn't even suspicious enough to invade her privacy on purpose. But a notification popped up, and I saw a name I didn't recognize, followed by words no married man should ever have to read. I closed the laptop gently, like it might break if I touched it too hard. That night she came home lighter than she'd been in months. She talked about traffic, about work, about nothing that mattered. I watched her like she was a stranger, realizing the woman I loved was already gone, replaced by someone who looked the same but lived somewhere else emotionally. I didn't confront her right away. I needed clarity, not chaos. I started paying attention. Dates, receipts, stories that didn't quite add up. The truth revealed itself slowly, and with each piece my confusion turned into cold, hard certainty. When I finally spoke, it was on a quiet Sunday morning. The kids were out, the house was still. I asked her one simple question. "Are you seeing someone else?" She didn't deny it. Her shoulders just dropped, and she sighed like she was relieved to finally stop pretending. "It wasn't planned," she said. "It just happened." That one sentence destroyed something final inside me. I asked her if she loved him. She hesitated, then said she didn't know. That was enough. I told her I would be filing for divorce. Not as a threat, but as a statement of fact. She cried then, accused me of being cold, of not fighting for us. She said people make mistakes. I agreed, but mistakes end when regret begins. Hers hadn't. The next months were difficult, but deliberate. I spoke to a lawyer quietly. I documented everything. I focused on protecting my children from the fallout of adult choices they didn't make. I refused to poison them against their mother. The truth doesn't need exaggeration. She moved out. The house felt strange at first, too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Then slowly it began to feel peaceful, predictable, honest. The man she chose over our marriage didn't last. He never intended to stay. When reality replaced the secrecy, he vanished. She tried to come back after that. Apologies arrived wrapped in regret and a fear of being alone. I listened calmly and said no, not out of anger. Out of self-respect, the divorce finalized without a big spectacle. There were no victories to celebrate, only lessons to absorb. I learned how much strength there is in restraint. How dignity feels heavier than revenge but lasts so much longer. My children adjusted slowly. There were hard conversations, tears, and moments of silence. But there was also stability. I was present. I was consistent. I was honest. Eventually, that mattered more than any explanation. A year later, I ran into her unexpectedly. She looked tired in a way I'd never seen before. We exchanged polite words. She asked how I was doing. "I'm at peace," I said, surprising myself with how true it felt. She just nodded, her eyes downcast, like someone who finally understood what had been lost. As I walked away, I realized something important. Betrayal didn't ruin my life. It revealed it. It showed me where I had settled, where I had stayed quiet just to keep the peace, where I had mistaken endurance for love. I didn't lose 18 years. I gained clarity, and that, in the end, was worth more than staying in a life that no longer chose me. Thank you for listening.